In this short video, we're going to look at some of the factors involved with bringing contractors and visitors on site. We can view it in terms of different circles of compliance. The first question we might ask ourselves is, what companies are we dealing with? The next question is, which employees of those companies will be coming to our facility? The next question could be, what are our specific site requirements before any contractor comes on site? The next question is, what will the registration process be for contractors or visitors coming to our site? And finally, when a contractor is working at the site, do we have a work permit system that they need to use? If we look at the questions around what companies, we might consider, do we have a control list of all the companies that we need to manage? Are they insured? This is a particularly critical point, since if you bring a subcontractor on site and you don't check their insurance details, it is likely that this will negate your own insurance policy in the event of an incident. Please check your own policy carefully. We'd also like to know what baggage our contractors bringing on site. Have they had accidents in other facilities? Are there legal claims against them? What type of licenses and certificates are required, and do they have these up to date? Are they bringing chemicals onto your facility that might end up down the drain and create problems elsewhere? Any permits that they need to operate, are they current? And also, do you have any pre-qualification checklists that you need them to complete before they arrive at your facility? The next question is, what type of employees are coming to your facility? Are they directly employed by the contractor, in which case they're subcontractors, or are they subcontractors to them, in which case they're subcontractors to you, or worse, self-employed? Are they trained? Are they fit to work? Indeed, are they even competent? Competence is legally defined as have they the appropriate training, experience, and education. Have they or do they need to complete an induction? The next question we look at is, what are your own site requirements? Many organizations haven't taken the time to clearly define what they want, and therefore it makes it much more difficult for the contractors to even try to comply. You need to define minimum requirements around your contractors and then decide how are you going to communicate these requirements to them. You have to set expectations. It's a very good idea to do induction training before the contractor even arrives to site. You don't want to tie up your own personnel and even meeting rooms doing this training on site. In addition, if you have 10 people coming on site to do work and you tie them up for an hour of training, that's over 1 man day of work that you've lost. What site rules are there, and what do you need the contractors to know? Do you have a permit to work system that you want to give advance notice about? And what interventions will you be taking in the event of non-compliance by your contractors? The next thing we want to look at is the registration for both visitors and contractors coming to your facility. Is it a very professional welcome? We want to know, do contractors and visitors meet all of the entry requirements that you need to be specifying? One thing that you might consider as well is, when visitors arrive, do they sign a general login sheet where they can see the names of many other visitors who've been to your facility? This may not be GDPR compliant. Do you have a badge printing facility? Indeed, if you're going to print a badge, have you actually checked that all the details are up to date before you print the badge? Do you have a way of notifying your host that the guest has arrived on site? Do you have an emergency roll call list in the event of an evacuation while your guests are on site? Do you know when your guests have departed from site? Can you link it to access control? The next thing we want to look at is the permit to work system. Many organizations operate some form of a permit to work or a safe work system, but you want to make sure you have the right type of permits in operation. The difficulty then is not just generating permits, but at the end of the process, closing them off. You want to know how many permits are active in an area before you create a new permit. You want to integrate all your permits together so as you don't have multiple forms of paper floating around. For example, working at height, confined space entry, hot work. Do you want to let your contractors even draft permits? Do you want to work purely electronic or purely paper, or would a hybrid version between the two work for you? How are you going to work with issuing the work permit to approved contractors, or do you have any way of even knowing that the contractor is approved? These are some of the factors that you need to consider when you bring visitors and contractors to your facility. We'd be delighted to talk about these in more detail and explain to you our own proven approach. 3 steps is all it takes to get this process sorted out for you. Please feel free to contact us, visit our website ehasoft.com, or also email dan@ehasoft.com. That's dan@ehasoft.com.